Hi everyone, Bruce Swartz. A bit of everything in this video. Thanks so much for the interest and for taking the time to subscribe. So I slowed this down a lot. It's a light going by, and I say a light, it's something cloudy. And the reason why it looks always cloudy in everything I catch, well, that's just how we see objects in space, and at the same time, how the camera picks up the objects. And this was not necessarily in space. It's while I was aiming at the moon, but it does not mean that it's on the moon, obviously. So this was between me and the moon, but again during the day, which is a rare capture. For those just arriving to the channel, I often capture things on the surface by descending the exposure when I see a light. Now look at the dark object that also appears beside the two lights that appear. Now, for me, it's something massive. Look at this, a conversion. Watch the lights step across the moon, and you'll see them. Look at that. 1, 2, and 3. For me, that's a lot because you see them in unison moving along the surface. That is not something moving on the surface. It looks like a literal light lighting up on the surface. Here with the exposure taken right down, you're wondering what you're looking at. Well, you're looking at flashes of light that are miles wide across. And it's definitely not the sun. You could see the smoke around them is the actual either atmosphere, smoke or haze or clouds that are on the moon. Vapor around Earth. Duh. I assume there would be vapor around the moon. So look at this. What do you think of an object, let's call it a UFO, even though it looks like a creature, on the moon going into a smoke or haze? That's something I brought up, and it really stuck with me in my head. I said, why would there be smoke going over these objects? Maybe an atmosphere, like here on Earth. So here on the surface, we see lines, quite simply, nothing else, over a dark line that seem to be aligned. It could be the wind, like some say. It could be just natural. I'll tell you what, there's certain values that I really hold on to and that I always have ever since I've been a kid. I would say even before my mother even brought me up the way I am. She did a good job. I love you, Mom. But seriously, while you watch this UFO going into the surface, it's important never to force your beliefs onto anyone. So I share my theories here, but no matter what you believe, whether you believe I'm capturing structures, shapes, and forms, look at this triangle. I respect you, and I'm dead serious about what I'm saying, and I think it's important because I honestly, virtually want this channel to be known for having respected the opinions of others, right? And that's how I believe I'm going to gather a lot of friends and a lot of followers by remaining open-minded. We have trolls here, but in general, there's not trolls. The people that are really concerned about my research not being real, much respect to you. This particular occurrence happens very often here. A UFO by itself hovering over my house as I watch these little lights flickering around these objects. Filled with emotion, I am. Trust me, I'm always so filled with emotion. Ever since my dad died, I've always believed, especially with him coming back, that there really is another side. On the moon, black and white, looking at the surface. A small object goes by back it up, with a shadow or another object with it, and now a larger object comes into the frame. So, yeah, I have so much respect for each and every one of you, and I know most of the trolls, if you're authentically trolling me because you don't believe there's something up there, I respect you. It's hard to accept that there's something outside of this realm when the system has always told us the opposite. What is this? Let's look at this frame one more time. Listen, you're looking at two different objects on the surface, my dear friends, that there's an object, a small dark object at the front with a light at the back that is going towards the right, and you see the fire at the back of it. This is a UFO. Well, I didn't get the moon yesterday. Brought the scope out. A lot of clouds. Doesn't matter. Can't hide forever. Look at the UFO lights going inside of a crater. These are all things that I showed that should be actually at the top of the list on every researcher's board. Look at the light. Look at that. A shape. Eh? Yep, that's right. You see a shape. It's a rectangle light, but look what's beside it. 3 other lights on the surface. How many hundreds of thousands or millions of beings are underneath that haze? Remember the explosions out in space that I showed you around Venus? Well, there was a lot of explosions happening at the end of last summer, and that was right before they warned us about the pandemic and right before the lights stopped. So you can't help but wonder, was something going on outside of our galaxy or in the solar system? A war? Who knows? I'm starting to think more and more that, listen, all the possibilities, y'all. I mean, the aliens could be hiring humans to be fighting a war for them. I mean, there's a whole bunch of things that could be going on, right? Here's a light just quietly going by, teasing me. You'll see it'll flare up maybe 2 or 3 times, and then it'll really flare up a lot. You never know where they're coming from. You never know who or what they are. But they're there. They're all around the earth, and you can't help but hope that whatever these lights are, they're here to protect Earth and the whole ideal, right, of humanity. I'm pretty sure they'll protect it. It's just that sometimes they go through drastic changes, and that's what I'm worried about. 7 billion people, close to 8 billion people on this planet are being radicalized by the ones ruling them. And it's not the other way around. It's not the people that are racist. I learned that very recently, actually. It's the ones telling us not to be racist that are actually portraying in depth racism. Yep. Something in space. What is it? Well, it's a large object. It's an object that has symmetrical shapes on it. You even see a square as it's winding around in space, this large object. So, why all this debris in space, right? You're not going to tell me it's all us that did that? And if so, what a bunch of pigs we are. Jumping back and forth, we're over to the moon now. We're going to go see some buildings, structures, some industrial companies, smokes and hazes, clear evidence and proof. This is a moving light causing a smoke to appear around it, which I've shown many times. You'll see another one appear beside it. A very strange phenomena. I'm going to do a test. Ask yourselves, those of you, and I'm not talking about trolls, I'm talking about the real ones, religious or not, for whatever your reason that you do not believe that you are seeing what I'm showing. For example, here, a UFO arriving to the surface. Maybe it's the words I'm using. Maybe by me telling you it's a UFO, you maybe feel that I'm forcing you to believe it's alien, when in reality, I've never said it. I've never known. We never will, maybe, whether they're alien or human. But is it because the system explained to you there was no atmosphere there, that no man has gone there before, like, Star Trek often speaks about, which the beginning of Star Trek, by the way, really explains what the Pentagon is doing. 5 years, right? Mission to detect unidentified flying objects and different living beings. A lot of the movies that we watched way back is truth. There's a lot of truth to it, whether it be science fiction or not. It was labeled science fiction. Yet I sit here and show you constructed objects on the moon and setups like you're looking at right here. There's no two ways about it. We can go look in more depth of more constructed objects and more common sense, use logic, common sense. But often what comes mixed into that are the scientists' opinions, what's written in history books, laws of physics. But on the moon, laws of physics do not correspond or relate to the moon in any way, actually. So you can't help but wonder, maybe we were told some lies. Are you seeing the construction in the bottom right of this? My God, it's beautiful. It's incredible to see all that construction on the moon, and that most of us are asleep. Infrared. This is two panels. These are two panels on each side of this UFO, this light phenomena, that are closing up and opening up. It's the first time I had seen the lights in the sky here in Montreal react this way, and you can clearly see two panels, two sides of the light closing up, like there was something maybe dark opening up over top of this light to hide the light, or it's literally a light, a camouflage or something closing itself up. Very unique. Probably, I know the military has seen them. If they have, they have this documentation, and they know exactly that I'm telling the truth. And I'm not here to force anyone, but I sure am here to share everything that's up there.
All night long. The aliens on the moon, they must be mighty. They up there sitting down in that pontoon. They brought everybody up in their belly party. But they don't, and they coming here so soon. Yeah, aliens are up there on the moon. They may be even coming right here soon. Aliens are mighty on the moon. Yes, they are up there. Doesn't matter, cause disclosure's coming soon. Disclosure's coming soon.